Alright, so the next Christmas design that we're going to do is popular with the little girls, and that is Frozen, or the Ice Princess. So this one's always asked for at Christmas, so we might as well learn it. So Frozen's easy. It's pretty much just the crown that we're doing and some snowflakes. Now, to make our lives so much easier, I have a stencil of snowflakes. So stencils are pretty easy to put on. I use the finger dabbers to put them on. So you push them up against the kid's skin and then you just dab the color in around the stencil and then pull it off pretty quickly, and it'll leave the stencil mark in place. So it'll save you a lot of time not having to do individual snowflakes everywhere. So for the Frozen, obviously we're using white. We're going to also be using one of our blue rainbow one strokes, and I like to use a little bit of silver. So I'm going to start with the silver, and I'm going to use a sponge. Just get a little bit of silver on my sponge there, and what I do for this is I just put that on top of the girl's eyes. Like so. It's just a little bit of extra. You don't have to do it. If your line's really long, don't bother, but it's just what I like to do. It gives it a little bit more sparkle. Alright, so the next part we're going to do is using your 1 inch or your 3/4, and we're going to get the little blue one stroke rainbow, and then we're just going to add some of this onto your brush. So the design is best to stand in the middle of your forehead, and this is a little bit tricky. So what we're going to do is you're going to just use the tip of your brush to make 2 little lines like so between the eyebrows. Sorry if my hand gets in the way, but you're going to push down, drag up, twist to a top. It's a little bit hard when you're doing it on your own face. Just fix that up. Go down, twist down like so. Just gonna fix that up. Like so. Alright, so you're just going to leave that dry a little bit, still using the same thing. You're going to press down with your brush and flick in. Press down, flick in. Press down, flick in. Press down, flick in. Do the same on this side. Press down, flick in. So you're pushing, drag, and then lift your brush up when you bring it in. Like so. So that's going to give you a little bit of a crown, and I like to do just a single one going down the opposite direction. It just makes it look a little bit more interesting. Make sure you have an even amount on each side. Now to go back to this middle part of your crown, I like to do a smaller one in the middle there. Like so. That's the basic look of the crown. Now, using your stencil, you get your little finger dobber. We're going to use the white. Now the trick with the finger dobber is that it actually soaks in a lot of water. So you don't want to have too much water on your finger dobber. So if you feel like it's just a little bit too much, just tap it off onto your rag, because when you're using stencils and you're pressing down, the last thing you want to do is have it run underneath the stencil when you're using it. Now I'm going to just test to make sure it's dry. I'm going to use the big, got to get it in the middle of my forehead. I'm going to use the big snowflake in the middle. Hold it tight to their heads. They're going to move back, just move with them. And then the tap, 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 tap. And lift off. It's very hard to do it on your own face. Alright, while you're still doing that, you can use some of the others. Like so. You can do as many as you like or as little as you like, but make sure you have a snowflake in the middle of the forehead. Alright, so a number 4 brush is good for this next part. We're still using the white paint, so get some of your white paint onto your brush, and we're just going to fill in some of these gaps with teardrops. So you press down, drag, kick in. Press down, drag, kick in. Press down, drag, kick in. So whatever you do on one side of your face, make sure you mirror it on the other to keep symmetry. And that's the trick with crowns for princesses. So you can use this crown any color you like for a princess. Like so. Now, you might be happy to leave it just like that if you want. I don't. I tend to want to add just a little bit of that extra. It is frozen after all. So I do a bit of a wiggly line on the crown, like it's a frozen icicle. Which is what I did the dots for, so that I knew where the line was going to be. Should have probably said that. like so. So it gives it that look that's frozen. And you can do little dots under the eyes like so. Anything you like to add. That is basically it. If you don't have much of a lineup and you want to do just a little bit extra, you can get a smaller, like almost lip liner brush, and I like to use my metallic blue. And this is only if the kid doesn't have anything on their mouth, they're not going to intend to eat, or your line's pretty short. Some kids don't want this, by the way. You can go on their lips. Now for children, they don't open their mouth like they ought to. Some of them do this. It's very hard. So don't panic too much. But that's the look you're going to go for with that. That is Frozen. That's all you have to do for Frozen. It's very quick for a long line, and it's just a crown. And your little snowflakes, they look much better when you do it on a kid's face. They're just really hard to do when you're doing it on yourself.